On Tuesday, the economic freedom fighters announced that they have officially instructed the leadership of the party in the Eastern Cape to start a process of tabling a motion of no confidence against the Democratic Alliance's Nelson Mandela Bay Executive Mayor, Athol Trollip. The two parties have been in a coalition partnership in 3 major municipalities after the 2016 local government elections. To talk more on this issue and the future of political party coalitions, we are now joined from our Pretoria studio by Livhuwani Ndou, who of course is a political analyst from the Tshwane University of Technology. Livhuwani, good to have you again. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning to you, Leanne. Good morning to the viewers at home.
All right, so Livhuwani, let's get straight into it. What's happening lately with these coalitions and this 2016 partnership that we saw between the DA and the EFF? Do you think that this is really putting the relationship to the test, or is this the beginning of the end?
One must indicate very clearly that there has been a lot of suspicion between the relationship between the EFF and the DA. But importantly, or equally of importance, is to emphasize that the EFF has made it very clear that this is not necessarily a coalition. It's a relationship of convenience on the basis of where they actually find common ground. And you'll actually recall that in the main, the EFF and the DA have been very much opposed to corruption that has been happening in government.
Yeah.
Now, it means that their relationship, it's based on where they actually find common ground or where they actually agree, and then they will actually embark on the common programs. And anything can happen within this relationship. If they find it's an area where they don't agree, obviously they have to part ways. But where they actually agree, they'll actually have to work together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's look at this because, you know, the CIC, Julius Malema, going and saying he's firing a warning shot at the DA. And all of this centered around the idea of land expropriation and the fact that the DA did not stand with them. You know, this is clearly punishment, what they're doing in the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro, on a differing view on policy. But where's this going to lead them? Because this is a major issue.
Look, the EFF has got a clear political program, and they've got certain policy objectives that they want to achieve. And I think they're busy positioning themselves in a space where they're actually saying, if we disagree on the following, then our relationship can even come to an end. And that is why they took a strategic decision, I think, to say, even though we have put the Democratic Alliance in the strategic municipalities, we are not going to take any executive position. Our role will be to push the agenda, our own agenda, which is pro-poor, and where we disagree, we'll actually find ways to punish them. But also, the EFF here is in a better position to determine who leads, because whatever numbers that they have, if they take them either to the DA or take them to any other party, that party will then have to run the municipality. And that is why they're actually trying their best to say, even though we've put the DA in positions of power, we can still dictate what has to be done. And I think they're actually doing it very, very carefully, but in the main, they're doing it for political reasons and also in the interest of the general population on the ground.
Yeah. You know, I mean, let's go back to 2016 when these coalitions were formed. The EFF always made it blatantly clear that this was in no way, these coalitions were in no way seen as supporting another political party and being sort of at the behest of another political party. They were ready to pull the plug at any time, and they always left that door open, and I think they always let that be known. And it seems like now's that moment. You know, there was this anti-Zuma sentiment within the EFF. You know, former President Jacob Zuma is now gone, so the EFF are now seeming to be siding more with the ANC, but you can help me out on this one, because they have come out and said if the ANC feel they have a stronger position or a stronger leader for the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro, they certainly will vote with the ANC. Is this that shift again towards ANC?
Look, Leanne, when the EFF was formed, there was a lot of anger, especially when the leader of the EFF was removed from the ANC. And that actually identified, and it was very convenient for them, identified a lot of weaknesses with President Zuma. Hence, there was a clear program to ensure that President Zuma does not become comfortable as the president of the ANC and the president of the Republic. But if you look at the background of the EFF, these are people that are coming from the ANC who have been pushing a radical agenda within the ANC. And on a number of occasions, they actually agree with policy positions of the ANC. And what they're actually saying to the ANC now is to say, if we remove the DA from office, please give us a credible person who will be able to move the municipality forward. But also, remember, in the last few weeks, the EFF has made it clear to the DA that if the DA does not support their motion on land expropriation, they will then find it difficult to run the municipalities. Yeah. This is a party that has got a program, and they are actually trying to influence the policy direction within the municipalities where they've actually assisted the DA to run those municipalities.
But I mean, let's be frank, the DA have never really come out and said, I mean, I think they've been very clear on their position all along, that they were not necessarily in favor of land expropriation. The EFF now coming up and saying, yeah, well, we can't partner with people who don't believe in it. But I don't think that they've ever hidden that particular policy stance. So now, is it just a way of the EFF trying to manipulate them into believing in land expropriation or voting in favor of it? I mean, because as I say, this was not a secret. It isn't sort of coming out now. It's always been there as a policy of the DA.
This is what you actually do when you're a kingmaker. You determine who is supposed to be in power and who is not supposed to be in power.
Yeah.
But the stance of the EFF, which has a socialist background and very much sympathetic to the poor, has been that of ensuring that the land is actually taken back to the formerly dispossessed. But you'll also know that this has been strong contradictions, very clear contradictions between the EFF and the DA. And obviously, it wasn't going to be easy for the two to agree.
Yeah.
But knowing the EFF as it is, they had to ensure that they push that agenda, whether the DA comes to the party or not. And at the same time, threaten them by saying, if you don't support us, we have got the kingmaker status and we can actually remove you from power at any given time. There are a number of issues where they're still going not to agree. And obviously, you're going to see the EFF moving with the parties that actually agree with them. And equally, the ANC might find themselves in more or less the same situation, because the EFF status now is that of a kingmaker, and they will actually do their best to ensure that the different parties that are then government actually toe their line, or they'll actually abandon them on the way.
So I'm going to ask you a question now, because we're talking politics and the game of politics, because it is like a chess game. You know, I move my piece, I've got the upper hand, you've got the upper hand now, and that's the way it works. However, at the end of the day, let's focus on Nelson Mandela Bay. You've got a municipality now that has its new mayor, Athol Trollip. My question to you, is he doing a good job? Are the residents there benefiting? And if they are, why move him, and why allow this to happen? Because, you know, at the end of the day, it's the people that are going to suffer at the behest of, you know, the kingmaker position.
Well, I think at the Nelson Mandela Bay, you'll recall that there has been an issue with the UDM and other smaller parties. And I think those are the challenges affecting coalitions, that the smaller parties or the parties that have participated in putting one party to run the municipality would always come with a number of demands, and that affects service delivery. But in terms of the PR exercise, when Athol Trollip got into the municipality, he promised a number of issues: the fixing of the taps, ensuring that garbage is actually collected all the time, ensuring that there is decency in terms of how the municipality is supposed to work. At a PR level, it's actually done very, very well. And you need these smaller parties that put this mayor into power to play a supportive role. But when there are always backdoor discussions and disagreements, they have a potential of affecting the functioning of the municipality. Municipal workers can be demoralized, and ordinary members of society might feel that coalitions are actually not working for us because there are a lot of differences that are actually happening all the time. And I think that is one area that those that are in coalitions or agreements must actually try to manage beyond closed doors, so that it must not be exposed to the general public.
All right, let's leave it there. Thanks so much for your opinions here on the program. We've got in our Pretoria studios Livhuwani Ndou, who is a political analyst from TUT, that's the Tshwane University of Technology. We take a break here on the program. We'd love to hear from you, actually. I mean, what do you think of what's happening with these